And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome out to this inaugural match of the 2020 U.S. Amateur Matchplay Championships local bracket held at Woodland Park. We're excited to be back here with you all today. We have a live first round matchup between Dave Quint and Jimmy Taylor. Beautiful morning for some disc golf, 70 degrees, calm winds. We'll take you to the first tee in just a minute. Here we are at the first tee at Woodland Park. Looks like Jimmy Taylor has the tee on this par 4 to kick off our 2020 Amateur Match Play Championships at Woodland Park. He has a great backhand drive. It's at least halfway down the fairway. Great start there for Jimmy Taylor. And Dave Quint now on the tee.
That's good for me.
You heard it there, Dave Quint saying that's good for me. In typical fashion, he just walks right up and launches it down the fairway with a great backhand shot. Like we mentioned in the pre-game comments, it's a beautiful day out here at Woodland Park. Temperature right around 70 degrees, calm winds, so weather should not be a negative factor for both of these players today. And Dave Quint in particular has mentioned in the past he likes having warmer weather conditions. So perfect day for Dave Quint to have a phenomenal start to this match play in 2020. One thing of note, we do have some of the baskets in alternate positions today, and hole 1 is one of those baskets in an alternate spot. So it's slightly shorter today than the typical length, and it's farther left on the left side of the fairway. So these guys are both going to have a really increased chance at getting a birdie. So we'll see if they can take advantage of this. Looks like Dave Quint's found his disc, and he'll be first on this approach shot, his second shot, hole 1. And he just walks right up there. Nice backhand nonchalant throw, and goes just a little bit to the left, so he might be slightly in the rough, but he'll have a great look at birdie. And Jimmy Taylor stepping up for his second shot, hole 1. Also goes with a backhand approach, a little short, a little harder left, so they're both going to be in the rough trying to pitch it out of the weeds and toward the basket. So we might not be seeing a birdie, but who knows? Dave Quint might have a look from where he is. Hard to tell from here. Well, one exciting thing that's been happening out here at Woodland Park over the last few weeks since we haven't had organized disc golf, there have been some course improvement projects starting to take place in the form of some alternate pin positions. So keep your eyes tuned. You might see some of those throughout the match play this year. The club's been hard at work thanks to our operations officer, Doug Barrett. Here we go. Here's Jimmy Taylor with his third shot, hole 1. Gives a nice little toss. Well within putting position, he should easily get a par. Dave Quint has a chance here to get one up on this first hole. It's all going to depend on where his disc landed and if he has a clean line to the basket or not. So he's still looking, looks like. Jimmy Taylor's going over to help him. This is going to be a real determining factor here, though. Looks like he found it. He's going to maybe have a look at a 3. Yep, they have it. So match play is all about being aggressive at just the right times. You can be highly aggressive because even if you lose a hole by 5 strokes, you're only 1 down. So expect Dave Quint to go for it all out here with this third shot. And he missed it. Hit low. All right, Jimmy Taylor taps out with a 4. Dave Quint taps out as well. So hole 1 is a push. We're all square through 1. We'll see at hole 2 in just a minute. Alright, we're back hole 2 at Woodland Park, all square. It's a par 3, 275 feet up the hill, out of bounds, road to the right. And Jimmy Taylor has the tee. And he gives it a good backhand rip. Nice little S-turn there. He is within 30 feet of the basket, so he'll have a good look at a 2. Here's Dave Quint with his drive, hole 2. And it's a little high, you heard him say there, hits the trees, breaks out left, but he'll have a clean line to approach the basket. It'll be pretty tough for him to get a 2, so probably expect Dave Quint to get a 3 on this hole. So we've seen the roles reverse here on hole 2. Jimmy Taylor with a chance at an aggressive birdie opportunity. Can he take advantage of this to get one up early in this match? We will see. Like we were saying on the first tee, there are some alternate pin positions going in here at Woodland Park. Hole 2 is one of those holes with an alternate position in the works. So what you'll see is the basket will not be directly ahead of us. It's actually going to be back into the left behind the tree line. So that'll add an extra wrinkle to this hole in the future. So definitely keep your eyes out for that here in the next little bit, be exciting. Now let's watch Dave Quint, second shot, hole 2. And he gives it a go. He actually hit the basket. That was a great shot there by Dave Quint, hitting metal. Wow. So he'll be more than likely tapping in for a par. So here's Jimmy Taylor with his birdie attempts, hole 2. And it's a little low, a little right. So it looks like both of these guys will just be aiming to tap out of here with a par and push this hole. But nothing's a given in disc golf, as anyone who's played this game for a little while knows. All right, Jimmy Taylor with the solid putt for par there. Dave Quint with the drop in, and hole 2's a push. We're all square through 2. We'll see you at hole 3 in just a minute. All right, we're back hole 3. Jimmy Taylor still has the tee here. And you can see there's the alternate pin placement for hole 2 I was talking about. For now, Jimmy Taylor with his first tee shot on hole 3. Big backhand drive right in the middle of the fairway, just past the short tee up there. So he's in great shape for his second shot. Dave Quint. Low backhand drive, but it's climbing, and he too is up there near the short tee, maybe on the left side of the fairway. Both of them are set up beautifully for their second shot here on hole 3. And hole 3 plays pretty long. It's uphill the whole way. It's 560 feet from the long tee all the way to the basket. And especially in the summer months when it's hot out here, there's not really any shade on this hole, so you can really get to feeling it. It's usually good if you're playing this early in your round when you're not too hot. But on this beautiful day in early May, heat is not a problem. See, there's plenty of shade on the left side of this fairway as the sun is still rising this morning. So. Great choice by these guys to play early in the morning. It looks like Jimmy Taylor is still kind of looking for his disc. I think he's found it. So he's up here about 340 feet from the basket from this position. Dave Quint's pretty much right next to him, just farther left. So Jimmy Taylor with a backhand shot. He's most of the way up the hill now. He'll have a good look for an approach for 3, trying to salvage a par. All right, Dave Quint now with his second shot, hole 3. Walks right up there. It's going to be a little farther left on the fairway, but that's okay. He'll have a good angle of approach there with his signature backhand throw that he uses. So I think he'll be able to shape that into the basket nicely. And pretty soon you're going to see hole 3 is another one of these alternate pin positions that are getting ready to be in play here at Woodland Park. And the alternate pin position for 3, it's going to be all the way up the hill in the left corner of the fairway. So it's going to play quite a bit longer, and should add a little extra wrinkle to the matches, especially since the tree line on the left side is going to come into play a little more, along with the tree line back behind the hole. So if you're not right on with your distances, you might have a tough putt into the basket. So these guys can enjoy these well-known pin positions while they're still in play. So here comes Dave Quint with his 3rd shot, hole 3. He's going with that backhand approach, bends it in there nicely, so he's within 10 feet for his 4th shot. Jimmy Taylor takes a low approach there, kicks a tree on the left side, but kicks back right and up. He's also within 10 feet. Both of them will have very makeable par putts, but not gimmies. So we'll see if they can keep this match all square with a push here on hole 3. And you can probably see the alternate pin position coming into focus now on the camera, that white PVC pipe in the ground there. So that's where it will be. So a little bit different than the standard placement we have here. And Jimmy Taylor to tap out with a par. And dead center chains. Great shot there by Jimmy Taylor. Dave Quint's going to try to follow suit here. He's a light quartering tailwind from the right, but it's no trouble. He has it low, solid inside the chains. Hole 3 is a push. We're all square through 3. See you at hole 4 in just a minute. Back hole 4. Jimmy Taylor just teed off on this par 4 dog leg. Looks like he ended up there right in the fairway, but just a little short of the dog legs. Here's Dave Quint. He has it low. It's turning over slightly. He's a little right of the fairway, but he'll have a decent shot to try to lay up around the dog leg through it. There's a small gap in there. Call it Falcor's Corner. So I think he can get right through there with a little chip shot around the bend. And hole 4 is another kind of signature hole out here at Woodland Park. It's a lot of fun. Typically the basket plays a little over 400 feet around the dog leg, but today, if I'm not mistaken, it is in the alternate position, so it's going to play a little longer. And there's a narrow gap that you have to get from the fairway into the green through. So it makes it a little trickier to get a 3. So that might help to encourage a few more pushes on this hole, but we'll see. Jimmy Taylor's assessing his options. He's a little, just slightly short of the dog leg, so he's going to have to try to bend his shot a little bit right. It looks like he did just that. I saw the disc turning over as it came out of his hand. He said he got a skip. Okay, he said it was right on target for the old pin position, but he's still gonna have a little bit of work to do to get to this new pin position deeper in the woods. So here's Dave Quint. He's at Falcor's corner. We'll see how much farther down the fairway he can make it. Just a light turnover. Chip out into the fairway. Smart play there by Dave Quint. Now both of them are going to have to try to thread the needle here up ahead into the green in the alternate pin position. All right, Dave Quint with the first attempt at that, his third shot, hole 4. And he turned it over pretty hard. And it looks like it's in the rough on the right side of the fairway. He's gonna have some work to do from there. So this could be an opportunity for Jimmy Taylor to try to get up in this match. It's just gonna depend on how far right his shot ended up. Actually, he's in great shape. Like he just said, Jimmy Taylor had said earlier, he is really close to the original pin placement, and yeah, he's parked. So he'll actually have a chance at a birdie here. So Dave Quint for a shot, hole 4. And great layup shot there by Dave Quint. He'll easily tap out from there. Jimmy Taylor has 2 shots to get in the chains and take this hole. All right, third shot, hit the pole low. If Jimmy Taylor can tap this out here, he will take the first lead in this match and the first lead in this 2020 edition of the US Amateur Matchplay Championships at Woodland Park. Looks like he's gonna let Dave Quint tap out. Get some extra shots for his money. But Jimmy Taylor drains it. He takes hole 4 with a 4. He is 1 up. We'll be at hole 5 in just a minute. Back hole 5. This is a par 3, 240 feet to the basket. Slight bend to the right. It isn't really a dog leg, but here's Jimmy Taylor. And he launches it low, but it is not going right. He's in the left side of the fairway and into the rough. So a little bit of work to do from there. Dave Quint now. Tee shot, hole 5. Right down the fairway. Was starting out, turning over a little to the right. Lands out left, but he's in the fairway. He will have a shot at a 2 birdie here. So you might want to take advantage of this if possible and get this match back all square. We'll see what he decides to do. It looks like he will have an opportunity at it. And one thing about this hole 5, you can see if you end up to the right, you're really in trouble out here. So it's a good thing Jimmy Taylor was to the left. Usually you have quite a few more gaps to get back toward the basket from there, but it really kind of depends on exactly where you are in the left. And he might be trapped out by some of these trees, but we'll see, because it might turn out where he can salvage a par here. But every now and then you end up in a place where all you can do is just toss it out into the fairway and just accept a bogey. Either way, things right now are looking pretty good for Dave Quint to maybe have a chance at getting a hole back here. It sounds like Jimmy Taylor has found his disc. Watch now, Jimmy Taylor with his second shot, hole 5. You can see he did have one of those gaps on the left side, just like we were talking about there. So he has laid it up nicely. He should be able to tap out for a 3 now. So that's a good thing for Jimmy Taylor. Great shot there. Dave Quint walking up with his birdie attempt, hole 5, to take this hole. Oh, he had the height, he had the distance, just slightly to the right. So both of these guys are going to try to tap out with a 3 and push this hole. So still a little bit of work to do. Looks like Jimmy Taylor will get the first attempt here on hole 5, third shot. And it's a little low, hits the basket. Dave Quint now has an opportunity to take this hole and get the match back to all square. And he does. Dave Quint with the 3 on 5. He takes hole 5. We're all square. We'll be at hole 6 in just a minute. We're back hole 6. Dave Quint with his tee shot there. He was hanging it out right. It crashed hard left, but short of the basket with his tee shot. Here's Jimmy Taylor. Goes with a big backhand shot there. It's gliding up high. And it's also going to be a little short, but he'll have a shot at it too if he wants to run it. I'd say more than likely he's probably going to end up laying it up there. That road to the right of the fairway and long of the basket from that position is out of bounds and slightly downhill, so it could always be a little difficult. It's 355 feet from this tee to the basket, so see both of them got their drives close to 300 feet there. And we're joined now by Darius Turrentine. Darius, great to have you here this morning. What are your thoughts on what you've seen in this match so far?
Man, you know, I guess I'll start by saying I am glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Finally out of the house after like 6 years of quarantine, it feels like. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad to get back to some disc golf, and from what I hear, it's been a pretty good match so far.
Yeah, it has. We're all square now here starting at hole 6, and you couldn't ask for a better day for some disc golf.
Oh, I'll tell you what, again, after being in the house and then getting out and the weather being nice, like this thing might start right back up again, but we're not going to talk about that today.
No, today we have some great action from Quint and Jimmy Taylor. And Jimmy's gonna have a shot here at maybe getting a 2, but like I was commenting there, it's a little risky if you go long. You could end up in the road with the hill going down and the pavement just beyond. So here's, looks like Jimmy Taylor with the first shot here, second shot. Oh. And it just kisses the basket there. Didn't make it.
So that's a good run. I don't know, John, and maybe you can fill me in. Is he still putting with those Stingrays? Because I'll tell you, he's laser with those things from what I've seen him play.
Oh yeah, remember that from putting. Here's Dave Quint with his shot. So he goes with a wild turnover there, but looks like they're both in gimme range.
Which, you know, honestly, that was probably a smart play for Dave. You know, just with that Anheuser putt, really avoids a good roll away, you know, so
right.
He's really playing with the slope of the hill. So I think it's more just a strategic play than anything.
This is that old school cool, as he likes to call it, keeping his head in all situations. And he does just that, tapping out with a 3 here on 6. Jimmy Taylor follows suit, so we're all square. Hole 6 was a push. We'll be at hole 7 in just a minute. Hole 7, Dave Quint. He just walks right up.
That's good for me.
President, you heard him there. It's good for him. Here's Jimmy Taylor. He also has a great shot there. Dead straight, slight turnover, hits a tree. They'll both have a good opportunity at a 2 here. Should be an exciting finish to this hole, Darius.
They really made that gap look easy. You know, they're both just right down the middle, straight at it.
Yeah, that's textbook right there. So
I hope I don't have to
struggle with this hole. You can put that video on slow-mo and analyze it, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for sure. Man, like neither one of them seemed to think about it. They had their game plan, grabbed their disc, and threw it straight down the middle. I'm expecting to see two good putts here.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I felt like I should
looks like Dave is going to be out here. So see if he can put some pressure on here.
All right, so yeah, Dave Quint, like you said, he is now going to attempt his second shot. Get a birdie here on 7. Ooh,
just a little short there.
That was a heartbreaker. Jimmy Taylor with an opportunity to take a hole back here. And he does just that. Solid 2 there on 7. Jimmy Taylor's now 1 up. We'll be at hole 8 in just a minute. Hole 8, par 3, 240 feet. Jimmy Taylor 1 up. He has the tee. And he throws a back end. It got a little high, didn't it, Darius?
Yeah, it went a little left side, but when you hit that tree, you're pretty good. He'll probably be just outside the circle.
Looks like he got a nice roll there at the end, so he'll have a good shot. Dave Quint out over the road with his backhand. It's diving in. Could it be a tombstone? No. No.
I don't know. It seemed to be a little wind out there. I mean, he definitely got it up there, but once it did, the wind seemed to really carry it from right to left there.
I can see the branches slightly moving up in the trees a little bit, so there is a little bit of a breeze up there.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky. We can't feel it down here, but once he got it up there, it definitely pushed his disc. I don't think he's in there deep. I think he may just be on the edge of the tree line. So
yeah, it definitely opens up. Not as many trees out here as you approach the basket on the right side, especially if you go out over the road. So if it's kicking back left and there's a little bit of a breeze, it's going to really push that disc hard into the woods. Cool. Well, Darius, I know you have a match coming up here later this weekend. I believe you're playing against Quentin Ladd. He's a newcomer here to disc golf in Columbia. How are you feeling about that match?
Well, you know, like you said, I know he's new, and it's one of those things where it's probably easy to overlook, you know, but I've been eliminated in the first round the past 2 years, so I really need to focus and make sure I don't take this for granted.
All right, there's Dave Quint. Aggressive shot. Hits the metal there. It's good.
Yeah.
But speaking of people who have never won in the first round, Dave Quint is another one of those people. So he's looking to get his first win in match play here today.
You know, that's tough. Match play is just a different ball game. You know, it's.
And Jimmy Taylor just a little left. He had the distance there on that shot. And there's a breeze now.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I'm really starting to feel it now as we got more away from the trees that are being blocked over there on hole 10. I can really start feeling a pretty good breeze, and I think that may have had an effect on Jimmy's putt there.
And for sure, here in disc golf, you know, the wind, I feel like it just accentuates any changes to your shot way more than in traditional golf. So Jimmy Taylor calmly steps up, drains that par putt for a 3.
Yeah, that was a good putt. That was right there on that tester range, you know.
Dave Quint does the same. So hole 8 is a push. Jimmy Taylor's still 1 up, and we'll join them at hole 9 here in just a minute. hole 9. Jimmy Taylor just teed off. He had a great shot. It's out in the fairway, but maybe a little bit short of the basket. So
Yeah, he got just a little too far to the right.
And Dave Quint, low drive, backhand, and he hits a tree.
Yeah, that was looking good. I think he was going to get good skip there and just hit the base of the tree. They're in the relatively the same spot up here on the right side of the fairway. Got good distance up the hill, but still a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, so they're both, it's going to be a race here to the finish. Like, really just don't screw up this approach shot right there.
Well, yeah, I agree. You know, that's one thing that I think I still struggle with in match play, and it's one hole. You know, for me personally, I always feel rushed. You know, like I got to get the stroke right now, and I think the biggest thing is gonna be patient, like you said. Just get some good upshots here, and don't give one away. I think
Right.
that's gonna be the key.
You really need to know when to push that accelerator pedal.
Right, and
to take the hole.
And you got to find the
when to
balance,
not do
because
that.
you know, too little, too late. It's definitely a big thing in match play as well. When it's good to know the course and kind of know where to be aggressive and where not to be aggressive. And I think both these guys are pretty familiar to kind of have that dialed in.
Looks like Jimmy Taylor will be up first with his second shot, hole 9. And he did a great job of laying up there.
Did just that. Took his medicine, put it right underneath the basket, and basically just gave the pressure back to Dave. Said, "Do it. It's your turn."
Yeah, I was looking at you. I'm like,
Dave Quint has a little bit of a trickier shot here. Has
Yeah,
to
yeah,
move
yeah.
around some trees, but it's still doable.
He laid it up. It left it just a little short, but I'd say he's probably 15, 16 feet.
Yeah, it's right at that tester distance. But you seen Dave Quint? He's a decent putter.
I'll tell you
he
what,
did pretty
dude.
well in that putting competition with
Yeah,
Perfect Putt 360.
Absolutely. He's really stepped it up, and I can tell he's been out there on the practice basket while he's been quarantined. He's really stepped it up here lately. So. And that's 2. You know, that's 2 we've seen in 3 holes where he just left it a little short, and it's really cost him.
So Jimmy Taylor takes hole 9 with a 3. So he's now 2 up. We'll see everyone hole 10 in just a minute. We're back hole 10. Jimmy Taylor just teed off. Hit some trees.
Yeah, just a little to the left. Hit that one tree right there. The one tree you got to miss.
And Dave Quint, he's throwing it a little farther right than typical, but you know what? That might play out well, Darius, because this basket is in the alternate position.
I'll tell you what, you know, for someone to say, "Oh no," as soon as they release it, I'd say that worked out pretty well. Probably as well as it could, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
When you say "oh well" right out of your hand, it's usually not good, but
I think in this alternate position, this basket plays a little under 500 feet now. It's a little shorter, but I think it's honestly more difficult.
yeah,
It's more guarded by some trees.
I agree. Now I'll say that your upshots usually seems to be a little easier, just because it opens up to the right side of the fairway. But the initial gap and wanting to really get the disc right is I say it's much harder for sure.
So the basket is somewhere way beyond those trees in front of us.
It's
Not really a
about
clear
50
gap here for Jimmy Taylor.
It's
But
about 15 foot shy of the road, so that's going to be another thing as we approach it.
he gives it a good go there. Hits a tree though, kicks hard left, and probably shaved a good 150 feet off of his shot, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so. And I will say that I think he'll have 2 trees to beat, it looks like, but he should have, other than that, a pretty open line at the basket.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Let's see exactly where Dave ended up. You know, I think there's definitely more trees down here to the right side, but looks like he carried far enough down that he might be past most of this stuff.
This is gonna be a great time for Dave to just keep it cool, keep it smart. He can get this hole back probably.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it just goes back to just stay calm still, you know, even though he has good potential to really get a stroke here. Just he has to take his medicine, just play slow, and just throw a good upshot here. And like you said, just bring it one step closer.
All right, so Jimmy Taylor now setting up for his 3rd shot.
Yeah, looks like those trees are coming more into play than I really anticipated them from back there as we approach closer. So it's going to be a tricky shot here. He has this initial tree line, and then the basket's also guarded by a second tree line as well. Wow.
He has a great shot there. It made it through the first gap, and it's around the second. And he is right next to the basket. He might have just...
No, I went OB.
Did it go OB?
It went out of bounds, yeah.
Okay, well,
yeah.
never mind. It looks great from where I
you know,
can
and
see
that's what I mentioned earlier. You know, that basket's only about 10 or 15 feet from OB, and that shot was on a rope right at it.
And here's Dave Quint. With his 2nd shot, he just needs to play it smart here. And
yeah, he does just that. You know, all he has to play for here is a 4 at this point.
Yep.
And like I said, he definitely put himself in position to do that.
So,
you know, that's why I like this new pin position, John. It really adds I think it's shorter. I think it plays a little easier with my hand quotations there, but the road really comes more into play on your upshot, you know.
yeah, it's just a completely different finish to the hole, and adds a lot of nice variety to this already fun course at Woodland Park.
Absolutely. You know, I think the board has really done a good job working with the parks and really changing it up, keeping it fun out here for everyone. And this is just a testament to that right here on this hole.
Thank you once again to Doug Barrett. Dave Quint there, he's right next to the basket with his 3rd shot. So he should be able just to tap out here with a 4 and finish this, take one back. So. Looks like Jimmy Taylor's going to let Dave Quint go ahead and give this a shot. He sinks it. Dave Quint with the 4. He takes hole 10. So now Jimmy Taylor is 1 up. We'll see a hole 11 in just a minute. Back hole 11 for 3. Dave Quint just had a backhand drive out into the fairway, and Jimmy Taylor follows suit. So they're both looking pretty after their drives there on hole 11.
Yeah.
Darius.
Both of them dead straight, middle of the fairway. It's really, I mean, textbook, honestly. And I think this is the point where, you know, that last hole should really give Dave some momentum and some confidence.
Yeah, and this basket's also in an alternate position from last year when we were playing match play. So it's going to look a little different too. What are your thoughts on this alternate position, Darius?
I'll tell you what, I think this is for me, probably the biggest change of all the alternate pins. It makes this whole, I mean, night and day different. You know, it's harder. It's a harder shot. I like it. I think it's a good, difficult shot, and it's a shot that we don't really have anywhere else on the course.
And there's a little bit of elevation change once you get to the basket too, which is cool.
Absolutely, you know, and that's for me what I found is that I feel like this hole actually plays a lot longer than what it actually is. You know, it just because you're kind of uphill, but the basket finishes downhill, but it's just the lay of the land. And I'd say it's what, 70 feet longer than the original position or so.
Yeah, it's pretty close to that.
Yeah. So I think
they're both in great shape here after their drives. So
yeah, this hole is really shown to be a score separator as well. You know, from what I've seen in our league rounds.
Let's see here. I think Jimmy Taylor is up first. So here he is with his second shot, hole 11. And looked pretty good from what I could see, Darius.
Yeah, looks like he put it right there underneath the basket.
And with that elevation, sometimes it'll keep going if it's trailing off left at the end. But here's Dave Quint. And I think it settled there for him.
Yeah, I believe so. I think he still left it a little short, but you know, I think he really, that last putt he made probably helped him build some confidence here. He dinked 2 off the cage, as he says, he draked it. But let's see if he can clean this one up and cause a push.
Yeah, great shots there by both of them. All right. And
with the light, it's still hard to see the disc. I can't see exactly where he's at.
I think I see Jimmy Taylor and Dave. They're both within 10 feet. So
yeah.
10, 15 feet
There we
here.
go.
Dave Quint, easy cleanup.
There we go. I can see he's getting his putting stroke back. He's looking more confident with it.
Jimmy Taylor the same. So hole 11's a push. Great threes by both of them. We'll be at hole 12 in just a minute. All right, we're back. Hole 12, 270-foot par 3.
All right.
Dave Quint has the tee.
Dave's going to be up first. No, it's just going to have to. All right, there you go.
I did.
And Jimmy Taylor now with his tee shot. And it just skims through the branch there. And it looks like he might have a look at it too.
Yeah, you know, I think he skipped up there, right, pretty close to that second tree line. So, I mean, he should be within 15 or 20 feet or so, I'd say. Dave had a good shot. You know, he parked the alternate pin we have up here to the right, but he's just a little right, I'd say. Probably just outside circle 1. Pushing circle 2.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Darius, this alternate pin on here on 12. We've kind of been able to give people a first look at some of these alternate placements, especially those that haven't been able to come out here to the course this week. But hole 12, it's going to be playing a little bit farther right on the fairway, but still just about the same distance back with the road coming into play.
Yeah, I like it. You know, it's, again, with these alternate pins, I think we've done a good job of changing and really diversitizing the course. So it's a different shot. You know, whether you're throwing forehand or backhand, it changes it both ways. So I really like the way that we've really put some thought into these new pin positions. Kudos to everyone involved with that.
So here's Dave Quint with his second shot.
I'd say he's about 55 feet or so.
and he sinks it. That was
wow.
incredible, Darius. You can
Absolutely.
see him running. He's so excited. Will he juggle his discs on the way back? Who knows?
Oh, and there he goes. He's massaging the chains here for Jimmy Taylor.
And Jimmy hits a tree. Dave Quint takes hole 12 with a phenomenal 2 there from 40 feet out. We're all square. We'll be at hole 13 in just a minute. All right, back hole 13. All square. Dave Quint has the tee. He gets it right down the fairway, dead straight. Darius, great shot there.
Absolutely. I'd say the only thing wrong with that shot is he didn't land in the shade.
Jimmy Taylor, he's going a little left, but he'll have a good look there.
Yeah,
at the basket.
yeah. He definitely, a little further left than he'd like, but he's far enough left that I think he's in the open, so he should have a good shot.
Yeah, he'll have a great shot there. For 2. This basket is in the alternate position today, so it's a little longer, a little further uphill. Definitely, even though it's only moving back maybe 40 feet or so, it is a much more difficult hole.
I'd say it plays right at 300 distance-wise, but I mean it plays longer than that, I guess. With the uphill and.
Yeah, it's definitely not a gimme birdie at all for most players, and you're just trying to get a par. If you get a birdie, then you probably got the hole on most people.
I agree. I think with match play, this is a hole that I would consider if I'm doing this, I have a really good chance of going one up here. So, but again, the biggest thing with match play is just don't make mistakes. Don't give the strokes.
That's right. Jimmy Taylor is assessing his options here.
Again, he got himself in a little tough situation here where he has a few trees to really navigate.
So with his second shot there, he hits a tree, and he's going to be a little short. So tough break there for Jimmy Taylor.
I think the biggest thing too here and what I've seen in my experience here is just Jimmy's really just had to get himself focused again. It's tough. He just lost 2 strokes in the last few holes, and although he's not down, he just really needs to regain his composure and get back on track.
So another window of opportunity for Dave Quint here. If he can just play it smart, try to get a 3, he'll be in great shape. Here he is with his second shot, hole 13. And he does just that.
Yeah. I mean, put himself right there within 10, 15 feet. And again, it's really putting Jimmy in a situation where he's got to run it. Dave's right there at the basket for a 3, and
he's right there.
Yeah, so. He did a good job. He gave it a good bid. And again, we said it earlier, but it's just so far uphill this last 60 feet or so that it makes those up shots really difficult.
Yeah, it really does. And You cannot get off the fairway. It is just, especially to the left here. I mean, you'll have some windows you can get through, but more than likely, especially in this long position, it's going to be tough to get back up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Track. Here's Dave Quint. He taps it out with a 3, takes hole 13. He's now 1 up. We'll be at hole 14 in just a minute. Dave Quint just teed off here on hole 14, and he hit the trees a quarter of the way down the fairway there. 606 feet to the basket. Here's Jimmy Taylor. And he got a nice turnover there on his shot, but little right and into the trees there too, Darius.
Yeah, he got a good roll left. Still not ideal, but he rolled far enough left that he should have himself a shot here. That's the thing, you know, with the right side of the fairway. You get up there, you got a low ceiling and some trees, some tough trees to deal with. So he got a little break there.
Yeah, and it's really going to be a fight here to get into a position to salvage a par from this point, I would think, Darius. I don't think either one of them are going to have a legitimate shot at a birdie unless they can take a risky line through these trees on the right toward the basket.
I don't expect to see that. Honestly, I expect for both players here to just go up, take their medicine. Like I said, neither one of them are in great position to attack, and just take a 4. I think that's going to be both their game plans here. And like I said, I mean, really the one that needs to be getting aggressive would be Jimmy, and he's out of position, I think. So.
Yeah, and he still has a few holes left.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And again, it just goes back to he doesn't want to hurt himself here. You know, just take his medicine, and we have a couple holes that are good opportunities for a swing.
Yeah, you just got to keep your cool and take it hole by hole, shot by shot, and I think they're both doing a pretty good job of that. So Dave Quint is first up with his second shot, hole 14. And looks like he hit 2 trees on the way toward the basket.
Yeah, but you know, and even though he did catch a tree, I don't think that's gonna.
It might have actually worked in his favor, kept it from crashing left. Jimmy Taylor with a great turnover shot. So
yeah,
they're both set up for an approach into this basket. If they both have to land this. You have to land this.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
Try to push this hole.
I agree. You know, I mean, Dave's a little shorter here with that last tree clip, but I think he's just got to put it close here. And, you know, and we've seen it in previous years. I don't know if you recall the match. I think it was the Ben Kelly match. Came down to hole 18, and you know it was one there. I think we've had a couple matches that come down to the wire. And
oh yeah,
Woodland Park is just a course that you can win it on any hole. You know,
it's a great course for some match play, that's for sure. Especially coming down this stretch. We usually have some lead changes.
Yeah, 15, 16, 17 especially. Those are holes that can really make or break your round, whether you're playing match play or stroke play.
Okay, so Dave Quint is now just kind of assessing his options here.
Yeah, you know, the play here is usually players would utilize the forehand, just playing into the hill. The backhand line, you have, obviously you can see there's a couple more trees there, and then obviously the road if you get too wide. So also you're playing, you know, the natural physics seems to want to pull the disc down the hill as well with a backhand throw. So.
Okay, Dave Quint with his approach shot hits a tree, so he's kind of a tough fourth shot.
You know, this is a tough position for a backhand. Like I said, it really brings those trees into play, and at the same time, it's pulling your disc back down the hill. Now, this is a chance for Jimmy to really just lay it underneath the basket,
yeah,
and and make Dave make the decision on whether he wants to, push, try to run it, and this is really his chance here.
Yeah, so Jimmy Taylor now with his third shot, hole 14. And he hangs it a little bit left of his intended line there.
Yeah,
it's a tree.
Yeah, hits a tree. I mean, so really both these players here have a 20 to 30 footer for their pars. Again, I don't think this is what either one of them wanted here. But now's the time to make putts.
And this is match play, so really, I mean, it's just you versus your opponent, and even if it's a bogey, if that wins it, or a par, I mean, hey, you just gotta do what you gotta do. Let's see Dave Quint here with his fourth shot. Getting his balance. A little tricky there.
Yeah.
He throws it up. He is a little bit left.
Just a little left, I mean, again, that tree right in front of him, really.
Jimmy Taylor with an opportunity. He takes it and he makes it. Great shot there by Jimmy Taylor. He takes hole 14. We are now all square. We'll be at hole 15 in just a minute. We're back, hole 15, par 3, 225 feet. Jimmy Taylor has the tee. We're all square. He's a little left of the fairway there and crashed out left. Actually out toward the new shared alternate pin placement with hole 14, Darius. Here's Dave Quint, his tee shot. Walks right up, calmly throws it. Turns over a bit, but he'll be a good 50, 60 feet from the basket.
Yeah. This is one of those holes on the course that you really would like to birdie, and neither player had their ideal shot. But this is the point where we were just talking about, John. 15, 16, 17 is really. I mean, I expect to see some lead changes here. I think the biggest thing here is, again, take your medicine. Both these players are out of position. I believe we're walking towards Jimmy's lot now. I think he's gonna he's gonna have some trees to contend with again over here on this left side.
We're gonna get to see the shared alternate pin. This will share for, if my understanding is correct, both hole 14 and hole 15.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen this position.
Cool.
That's interesting.
Neat way to change up the course in an economical fashion. Here's Jimmy Taylor with his second shot. And great layup there.
Absolutely, did exactly what it needed to. Put it close to the basket. As we all know, this hole with this huge valley here, it's easy to get a roll away. So he matched the slope of the hill perfectly and just put it right underneath it, and sent it back to Dave for the.
And here's another alternate pin placement here, which I think that might be 15s. Another one for it. So right here's Dave Quint. He goes for it on this shot, and he hits the band. It rolls, but he gets a nice roll back. It did not go down the hill like we've seen happen before.
Another thing is I'm really starting to feel a gust of wind pick up too there. So that was real gutsy for him to run that. And again, just like we mentioned earlier with the roll away potential here. All right.
He taps out with the 3.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Taylor walks up. He taps it in and also gets a 3. So hole 15 is a push. We're all square. going into hole 16, so buckle up. This will be a fun finish to this first match in the 2020 US Amateur Matchplay Championships at Woodland Park. All right, we're back, hole 16, par 3, 315 feet. Jimmy Taylor has a tee. We're all square. He gets a backhand low. It's turning out on him there. Pretty far right, Darius.
Yeah, turned over just a little bit. With the slope of the hill, again, it seems to suck you down that way.
And Dave Quint with his auto shot there. Backhand skips up nicely into the fairway, so he'll have a long attempt there to 2 if he wants, or just lay it up.
Yeah,
so,
again, you know, I think
he'll get to see what Jimmy Taylor does here with his second shot first.
Jimmy's a little bit out of position here. Like I said, he turned it over down to that right side. I expect him to have a decent look at an upshot. Obviously, depending on where his disc ended up stopping with that thin tree line we have down there, but Dave definitely has the advantage here with just a wide open shot. And again, 16, where it comes into play is you can get some solid rollaways here. You know, the slope the basket sits on it's a little treacherous. I've seen some 30-foot rollaways like 15, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. This elevation is a little bit dramatic at the basket. So let's see what Jimmy Taylor can do here. So is he still searching? I think he found his disc. So he's a ways down the hill, but he'll definitely have a look here at laying it up.
I don't believe he's really located his disc yet. I think he may be a little further left than.
So yeah, he is still looking for his disc. And okay, he found his disc. So he's here at this cluster of 4 trees.
Yeah,
So
and
that might actually work out to his advantage. That's a little easier than where he originally had his bag position down there.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it really opens up.
It's
just
probably 100 feet or more, over 100 feet to the basket.
Yeah, I'd say so. And just for the viewers at home, just to put it in perspective, there's definitely a headwind. He's going to be throwing right towards a headwind here at this basket. So.
The only really tricky thing is he's kind of between those 2 trees down there, Darius. It's going to really restrict his motion of his arm.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, definitely.
He did a good job. It looked like he pulled his hand back a little bit there to avoid hitting the tree, but he ended up in pretty good shape here.
Yeah, I mean, he put his hand right into that tree. You know, he's in a tough position. That's about the best you can get from there. That position right stuck between those trees. So now it just makes Dave want to, you know, make a decision here. Does he want to just lay up or does he want to run it here on this tough basket?
So Dave Quint now with his second shot, hole 16. We're running out of holes, so it just accentuates the importance of each shot. Dave Quint goes with the layup there, so he should be able to tap out for an easy 3 there. So the pressure is now on Jimmy Taylor. He has to make this.
Dave did another real smooth layup there, like he did back on hole 6. Just playing the slope of the hill and making sure his disc sits down.
Jimmy Taylor, clutch shot there.
Absolutely, you know, he needed that. He's not at a point where he can give a stroke here. So that's a good high pressure putt especially after slamming his hand on that tree back there on that upshot. So way to gain his composure and just make sure he doesn't lose a stroke here.
So Dave Quint now just taps it in, gets the 3. So hole 16 is a push. We have 2 holes of regulation remaining, and we're all square. We'll see a hole 17 in just a second. Okay, we're back hole 17, 270 feet. Jimmy Taylor has the tee. He gets a big backhand there, and it cuts back inbounds. It went out over the road, which is OB here, Darius, but it cut back just in time to keep him in.
This hole says it's only 270, but it plays uphill like 470.
Dave Quint with his cool backhand.
Yeah,
he's dead center in the fairway.
Yeah,
about 3/4 of the way to the basket.
Absolutely, just lays it right up there, middle of the fairway, and the biggest thing here is just stay in bounds, stay in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a, you got to have a real cannon like Ron Hintz to get to the basket here. It plays like 470 straight uphill. So, honestly, for a lot of players, it's the distance more than anything, and then so. I think the biggest thing here is just do what these players did, just stay in the fairway and take your medicine.
Yeah, they you just do not go out of bounds.
Absolutely,
right.
no,
that is a killer, especially if you're starting on hole 1 in match play and you get all the way to 17. You're pretty much throwing the match away at that point.
I agree. 17, but it happens. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've seen it happen on 17. It's not a hard thing to do.
Okay, so here's Jimmy Taylor with his second shot, hole 17. He's gonna try to get nice and close. Or who knows, maybe he'll try to throw it right in. We'll see.
With the uphill, that play's not out of question. He can give it a good run and he's still expected to sit down.
There's a crosswind right to left, blowing at a pretty steady pace.
Yeah, a little short, a little right, but I expect to see him clean it up from that range. As we approach Dave, he's at another tricky range where it's, what does he do? Does he run it or?
We'll see. Dave Quint, he goes up high, plays it with the crosswind right to left. It crashes hard left.
I believe right before he threw, he said, just wait till the wind calms down. And I don't think he did that at all. He just threw it right up there and said, you do what you want with my disc, wind. It's okay.
So depending on what's going on with the wind conditions here, he could have a pretty tough headwind shot back to the basket.
I agree.
Jimmy Taylor's going to have a tailwind.
Yeah, and this is the point in the match where, those little minute details that really comes into play. As you can see, Dave left himself a solid 15 to 20 footer.
And he hits it. Great
there you
shot
go.
There
That's what you needed there. Just really boost your confidence going into 18. All right.
And Jimmy Taylor does the same. So hole 17 is a push. We're all square going into hole 18. It is now sudden death from here on out. Enjoy. Back, hole 18. Jimmy Taylor with a great tee shot there. Hits a little branch, but he's through the gap.
That's very unfortunate. He was tracking right on middle of the fairway and way up there.
Dave Quint also with a backhand turns over a little bit through the gap. They're both in the clear.
I don't expect us to see two shots much better than that. Jimmy got a little unlucky there with that low hanging limb, and I mean they both just hit the gap. This is. I think this is why we're here, John. This is the kind of matches we expect, we want to see, and we're getting it. I don't think we can complain here. It's just
Matchplay really levels the playing field. It's a really exciting format, and what's cool is one of these guys is going to get to continue their path toward the national championship in Emporia, Kansas. The other is going home to their couch.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the plus side to that is at least they get to watch great coverage here of what they could have been doing.
Okay, so here's Jimmy Taylor with his second shot. This basket is in the alternate position, so it's straight ahead along this tree line to the left, all the way down. And Jimmy Taylor has a pretty good looking shot there, Darius.
I'll tell you what, for a blind shot uphill with an uphill run up, that's about as good as you're going to get.
Let's see if Coach Dave Quint try to replicate this here.
He had a good shot, just shy of the short tee.
Oh yeah, we're still very, very far.
And he launches that one. It's hanging out right. It's going to crash left around the Bradford Pears.
That's muscle right there, John. I'll tell you.
That was great.
He elected to the right side. That's actually the route I prefer. It takes these pear trees and some of these trees out of question here and gives you more of a hazard to the basket with a right-hand player, dominant backhand.
So one thing that's changed since the last time we had club events out here before COVID is this tree on the left side of the fairway is now fully covered with leaves, and those branches are hanging low. So that corridor to the left is severely hampered now.
Absolutely, and it's there though. It really going right side. It adds a little distance for me. I find it plays better with my game being right hand, backhand dominant. But for some players, they still opt this inside route. And like I said, it cuts distance off. So it really forces decisions to be made.
Yeah. So now Jimmy Taylor's looking for his disc, and they're still a little unsure of where it went because, like you said, that was a blind shot over the hill.
Yeah, no, and
Right around here.
and three people looking. It's amazing how difficult it can be to find your shot sometimes. The wind has picked up a little bit here in the later stage of this match, so it's going to come into play a little more as these guys try to finish up hole 18. They found the shot, so Jimmy Taylor is here on the left side of the fairway, and that tree that we were just talking about is going to come into play for him with those low-hanging branches. Darius, like you said, there are a few gaps through that tree with the low-hanging branch, but it's definitely not a gimme.
Yeah, no. Again, that tree, and it seems the more full it gets, the lower it's hanging now.
So there's just make out the basket through the gap there. He might hang it out hard right in the open, or will he try to cut the gap? Let's see. And he's trying to cut the gap, and it made it through, Darius. Great shot there. He is within 10 feet of the basket.
I'll tell you what, that throw is not in my arsenal. I definitely would have tried to go the wad hyzer and probably would have left it 100 foot short. So that's a great shot.
Yeah, and the other thing, I mean, you still have that right to left crosswind here. So you start hyzering it, it could blow right into the woods and game over.
For sure, this really puts the pressure on Dave here.
All right, Dave Quint with his third shot, hole 18. It's going a little left, like you heard him saying. It's heading toward the woods, and it's into the weeds. So this right here could be the match.
You know, like this is what it comes down to. Dave's got to make this putt. You know, Jimmy Taylor's underneath the basket, and you know Dave has a 40-footer from the edge of the woods. You know, this is the ending we could not have drawn up much better.
Yeah, it's coming down to the wire, and we're just gonna have to see what Dave Quint's what his stance is gonna have to be.
You know,
and these weeds and try. He has to make this.
And what I like, John, is Dave is just such a happy guy. You know, he's laughing. He's not slamming his bag. He hasn't kicked his.
Dragging it on the ground.
Yeah, he hasn't kicked his caddy. You know, he's not dragging it. You know, he hasn't got stung by any hornets. You know, anything like that. So he's laughing, having a good time, and really just enjoying it. And I think that's what we all enjoy about Dave so much.
Yeah, great attitude, a great sport. So he's found his disc.
And he's gonna put on a show for us, that's for sure.
Now, if he can make this shot, this will be one for the match play history. He has a very strong headwind. And he's about 20 feet out, maybe 30 feet. Can't tell how far he is in there. Yeah, he just asked, is there wind out there? He's still, we're back. Sorry, we had a small technical difficulty there, but like you saw, Dave Quint's putt did miss. That headwind carried it up high and to the left, and Jimmy Taylor just tapped in from his position right down here, about 5 feet from the basket. So Jimmy Taylor is your winner. He wins this first match in the 2020 Match Play Championships, 1-up. And we'll have a player interview with him in just a minute. Stay tuned.
Here. I'm just gonna recap the match and talk with Dave here. Dave, as we saw, you're on the losing end. Great match. Looks like you had a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
You want to recap it for us?
It was
what went wrong?
Play. What went wrong? The perfect putt 360 that helped me on many occasions. I still choked a few times.
That's
it.
You definitely draked it.
That's it. I draked it.
I've seen you handle high pressure situations against Drake himself.
Yes.
Jimmy must have been too much, huh?
Today was not that day. Jimmy was the better player. Consistent, awesome throws, less choking.
Absolutely. So you're rooting for Jimmy now, right?
I am. He did awesome. I'm happy for him.
All right, you guys heard it. Dave Quint, Jimmy for the win. right, everyone, here we go. We're back. I got Jimmy Taylor here. He is the winner of your 2020 match play first round, first match. Jimmy, your first time playing match play. A lot of nerves out there. You're being recorded.
Yep.
Playing against a guy like Dave Quint that's hard to take serious. How'd you do it?
I still don't know how I did it, to be honest. I came in thinking Dave was gonna just come walk right in and win, but we played pretty even the entire way. Our drives were neck and neck, and it was a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, I mentioned it on the broadcast. Hole 13, you had lost 2 strokes, one on hole 10, one on hole 12, and really it tied it back up. You were 2 up. Like, what was going through your mind on 13? I mentioned that you just needed to gain your composure and focus, and it seems like you did just that.
And that's exactly. Then one nice thing about match play is you just leave that last hole behind you.
Absolutely, that's
when you lost the hole, the match isn't over. Until the match is over, you're still in it. So
came down to the last hole. You were down 2 at one point. You're going to move on. You're going to face the winner of John Dale and Dustin Nelson. Do you have a preference on those 2 guys?
No. Whoever wins that match, I'm excited to see it.
All right, sweet. Well, we'll see you in round 2.
All right, thanks.